Hello, it's Chris Magnus on Streetview Vagabond. Good morning. And this week is an awards week. We just had the Oscars last night, and I've been going through my whole process and trying to explore the world through Street View and kind of build out this project and figure out what this is all about. So I'm taking some time this week to think about best ofs. So this is going to be my awards week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of how I've been working. And so what I usually one of my motivations of this whole project has been like finding new music. I was really frustrated listening to the radio here in DC and getting a lot of the same music over and over and over again. I was like, hey, how can I branch out of that? So I started listening to international radio on the internet, and since then I've compiled this entire library of playlists of different radio stations that I listen to around the world. So my process is each day I pick a radio station around the world and I put together a playlist of 20 songs that I listen to on that station. And as you can see, I started a long time ago, back in October of 2021, every day doing 5 songs a day from different countries. And then that started branching out to focusing on just one station for an entire day, um, and putting together like 20 songs from that place. And so this is really where this my exploration starts is through music. And I started thinking about like the different 5 senses of travel. What does it mean to be a traveler? How do we travel? It's not just about going to a place and sightseeing, it's about experiencing that place in total. And so music plays a really big role in that, um, because it transports you to other places, just as great writing would as well. So there's great musicians all around the world. We don't get a lot of the play here in the United States, and for lots of good reasons. Sometimes it's in different languages. Sometimes, there's contracting rules and radio, laws that they rules and regulations they have to abide by in terms of what they're playing, what they're not playing, and what the audience wants. And so it's great in order to kind of dip into different radio stations around the world, get a sense of what's going on in different countries, and listen to some really great music. And so these playlists have been fun. And then so I'm listening to these playlists, and then I start thinking about, okay, uh, you know, how do I put that together, and how do I explore different places too? And so one of the things I was doing on YouTube is putting together these kind of like visual overviews of the place with like 5 photos from the country and 5 songs. And then I started running into some copyright issues by putting the music up into my YouTube videos. So I was like, I don't want to have to deal with that. So I started backtracking off that, taking the music out. But again, so the music kind of really starts the process, get a sense of kind of what's going on in this country, what is some great music I can listen to. And then I kind of branched out thinking about like, oh, how can I actually reach out to folks in these different places and actually talk to them and go through that process. And so if you followed me, you know that I've had some great interviews with Habiba in Ghana, and did a big exploration in Ghana, lots of different photos and videos, putting those together and having those interviews, and even going to actually eat food here in the DC area, at Rahama restaurant in Silver Spring. And it's a lot of fun because there's that connection piece. So here I am in DC exploring the world through music, listening to music, and then I'm like, okay, how do I branch out and start to talk to people in these different countries, and explore and experience that here in DC? So kind of food is a huge um, um, part of that too. And I just learned yesterday on Geography Now that Thailand actually has a ministry of gastronomic tourism, in which they're actually supporting Thai restaurants around the world to kind of build that awareness of Thai culture and Thai food, and also interest in Thailand and tourism. And it works because apparently, according to Barb's video yesterday on Thailand, Bangkok is now the #1 visited city in the world, supplanting Paris, which has been on top for a long time. So, um, you know, gastronomic tourism works, and it's a great way to kind of taste the world as well too. So what I've got music. I've got try to reach out and make connections with folks. I've got food and get a sense of trying to experience the different countries in the world. And then in terms of kind of telling the story here, what I find is really difficult is keeping up with like kind of editing. So I've got these great long form video edit interviews of folks around the world. I've got some great videos I can't wait to share with you from Whitehorse, Yukon, that I've been sitting in my computer for months and months, just waiting to edit, and I haven't been able to do that. So one of the things I started moving towards is kind of this freeform, unedited videos, and it's great because it's easy to produce, it's easy to share out, and it's easy to get out and put up on my YouTube channel. And so I started doing that, calling these unboxing the world videos. And I've got, so you can see partially blocked because of copyright claims. I was including some music at one point too, so that's unfortunate. Um, but in these videos here, unboxing the world, in which I just record myself going through the process of getting on Streetview, taking screenshots, and exploring in the different parts of the world. And it's a lot of fun putting out these videos on a daily basis, on a weekday basis, and it's super easy. It's just recording myself for the 40 minutes that I'm online doing these videos, and most of them don't get watched, which is fine. I do have one that's actually super surprising, which is from Zimbabwe, which, as you can see, has 1,300 views, which is blowing my mind. Hilarious. So shout out to all the folks from Zimbabwe giving me lots of love on that video. Um, and then so I built out this process of looking at, what, how am I telling the story of what am I finding around the world? And so I started putting up to these kind of like Mural Mondays. On Mondays, I'm going to do this. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do Transportation Tuesdays. Again, back to Mural Mondays. And one of the things I love looking at is the art around the world. And these murals tell a story. And if you think about it, people are going to stop and take a photo. And then there's a cafe right next to that place. And so you can kind of stop, take a photo, and then grab a coffee or grab a lunch. And so it really starts to kind of build this consciousness for me about how much the arts are really a driving force of tourism. And and that really kind of plays out in these hashtags that I've got on a daily basis. So Mural Mondays, um, on the days that I'm focusing on a place in the world on Mondays, I'm really looking for a mural that I can find and kind of highlight. And invariably, I find one, and it's super cool. On Tuesdays, Transportation Tuesdays, when you think about it, traveling the world, it is a transportation sector. How are people getting around? And it's cool because it tells us a little bit about culture too. So here, this is from uh, Bangalore, Bangladesh. No, not Bangladesh. Bangladesh. It's from Bangladesh, and I was so stoked in terms of looking at these three-wheeled, bicycles that are getting folks around like little taxis, like a rickshaw kind of thing. And it kind of tells you a little bit of culture of getting around too. Mural Mondays. This is from the hip hop focus I did on the Bronx there. So you see the D train there too, even though it's a transportation piece, but it's Mural Mondays. Wednesdays, I talk about Wild Wednesdays. When we travel, we're also looking at the natural environment and the beauty that we can experience. And this is a waterfall not too far from Toluca, Mexico. And why would people are going to stop and take photos and want to actually visit a place that are in the wild and kind of like blow our minds and kind of like that breathtakingness of the wilderness that we can explore too. So again, thinking about these hashtags throughout the week, I'm thinking about like why do we travel? What are the things we look at? What are the things that we love to experience when we're traveling? So I've got art, got the transportation piece, I've got the natural beauty, the Wild Wednesdays. Of course, there's Throwback Thursdays, which is not necessarily specific to travel, but you think about travel, it's also about history, getting to know the historical context of a place, getting to know what has happened there, the stories, people that, and all of those events in the past that have influenced, currently. This is a sign in Clarksdale, Mississippi of Aaron Henry, who was a pharmacist that was the state NAACP leader in Mississippi and really instrumental in fighting for civil rights in Mississippi during the 1960s. And so it tells you a little bit about the importance of that place, right? So we go on Friday, Foodie Fridays. Of course, when we travel, we love to eat. This is a monster hot dog coming out of Cuenca, Ecuador, which is just look at the hand and look at that hot dog too. You'll notice too that there's a timestamp in the bottom corner. So I do a lot of screenshots, but also do a lot of photospheres too that are available too, and try the best of my ability to give credit to the folks that are taking those photos as well. Um, and then Saturday sports, that tells us a lot about the culture. Here, this is the Pakistan Hockey Federation there. This is from Karachi, Pakistan. Field hockey is huge in Pakistan. I did not necessarily know that until I started exploring on Streetview. Uh, and, and I was able to find the Pakistan Hockey Federation Stadium in Karachi, which I thought was pretty cool too. And finally, ending out the week of Spiritual Sundays. This is a fantastic um, Orthodox church in St. George, Romania, or such as Fanta Georgia, Romania. And I just want to make a caveat here. It is Spiritual Sundays, but I do not just focus on Christianity. It is, whatever the religious and faith traditions of a location. So even though I'm posting on Sundays and doing the hashtag Spiritual Sundays, I'm highlighting, sites and buildings and anything that deals with traditions from all sorts of faiths and faith traditions all around the world. But I'm keeping it to that one day just because, as you can see here, across the week, I'm doing different hashtags and really kind of exploring this idea of like, why do we travel? And for me, from my background, I got my degree in cultural anthropology when I was an undergrad. And I think about from cultural geography, it really is kind of this interplay of history and culture is made up of history and language and how we express ourselves through art and sport and connect ourselves to the spiritual world and the natural world and that human environment interaction, which is a huge theme in geography. So this is where I'm at. This is my process. I've got a different hashtag for each day, and it kind of helps me hone in and kind of have a schedule of the different things I'm looking for as I'm posting throughout the week as well. I'm finding that as I'm posting, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all of them along, and I tell the story each day. So I start off with my unboxing video, then I give different photos of the place. And here, this is the Aaron Henry one. So this is the Throwback Thursday. I also go into the funny finds. So going back here, there's always something funny to find, whether it be the Dildo Brewing Company out of St. John's, Newfoundland, come and eat catering out of Benin City, Nigeria, or the fact that there's a town in Australia called Blackbutt. There's always something a little bit funny, a little bit quirky, and I love laughing and I love finding these places all around the world. Sometimes it's a little bit of a translation piece. I'm trying not to make fun of folks' usage of English, recognizing that is a very common thing to laugh at in terms of TNet. So, but Dildo Brewing, there's actually a town in Newfoundland called Dildo, and check it out. Go online, check it out. There's a whole town. And it's funny, and a lot of these, have a sexual connotation to them too, but that's not necessarily true. You can see here that there's a Dutch oven. I think that where is this? This is in Clarksdale, Mississippi too. Great food, local place. Check it out. I laugh because of giving my brother's Dutch oven on the sheets. Having fun doing that kind of a thing too. And sometimes it's just things like this, the Odd Fellows, which is an organization and fraternal order, as it says here, dating back to the 1730s. It's not too funny, but in terms of you're an odd fellow going to Odd Fellows, that sort of thing too. So anyway, I love highlighting the funny pieces around the world. Here, this is the Transportation Tuesday. As you can see, an articulated bus. So just like what's going on around the world. And also try to do things that are thematic. So I did the Olympics. During the Olympics time, I focus on Black History Month. I had some posts that deal with women's history. And so it's just trying to explore the world in lots of different ways, lots of different modalities, and kind of tell a story here. But this is the point of this post today is that one of the things I find is like kind of that constant content creation and posting and posting and posting. One of the things is tough is that reflection and being able to put together kind of like what is this all about? Why am I doing this? What am I learning from all of this? And so on and so forth. So I'm going to take some time this week. As I said before, yesterday was the Oscars. So I'm going to say this is going to be my awards week. And so every day this week, I'm going to kind of go back through all my posts and all my photos and try to figure out like, what's the award today? So today it's going to be Mural Mondays, and we're looking at that. Also going to be looking at music. What are the kind of the best ofs that I've experienced that's been doing this project since starting in October. Um, and it's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun too. So um, but one of the things that I'd love to continue to work on is building out this blog. And this is one other piece too that I just really enjoy doing, but trying to find the time to be able to do that is actually writing short stories. And I wrote short stories that relate to the posts I'm finding. So here is a short story of somebody riding in this car, following this trash truck here. This is just outside of Lima, Peru, and trying to tell that story from a traveler standpoint, but really think about the details I could put together to tell the story. He was basically afraid of heights and driving on the side of a cliff, um, and so on and so forth. Here's a short story about the it's also kind of a funny find, the Buddick convenience store at a gas station in Norway as well too. So I've been cranking away, doing something on a daily basis, putting out all this content here that you can see on a daily basis, telling the story here. And so I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, try to figure out how can I continue to have this variety of interaction of all the hashtags, thinking about how I can make those connections with people, have those great conversations, how to balance, live stream form, video, edited video, kind of tell all this story here. And this is a hobby, this is not a job. So I gotta fit this all in between family and work and all that kind of thing. And so it's a big process here. But anyway, welcome to the awards week. I hope you follow me. You'll see all the links down below and check out the awards for the week. Today's going to be the best murals that I've been able to find over the years, over the months, and then each day I'm going to do different awards for each of the hashtags that I've got here, and just exploring the world from home here, as they call it, Streetview Vagabond. Anyway, it's been a journey. I love it. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having here, and I really appreciate you subscribing, following, feedback, anything you got for me. I really appreciate it. All right, take care.